What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Sorry for the delay on the Lingsha video. I just had a bunch of stuff that I had to figure out before this, but we are finally here. We're going to be talking about Lingsha, the new 5-star abundance character who is apparently break oriented. And it's kind of weird because we already have Gallagher and he is very strong, especially in the current meta. So is Lingsha going to be enough to warrant us to replace our Gallagher? I'm going to be addressing that question in today's video. And just in case you need a little bit of a boost because you want to save for Lingsha or for Fei Zhao on 2.5, check out our friends over at lbbar.gg. Once you click the link in the description, you're going to be in this page. Here you're going to select your game. They have Genshin Impact, Honkai Star Rail, and Zone Zero. Right now they have a 14% savings on Honkai Star Rail, but you can save up to 20% on lbbar.gg. Once you're in this page, you're going to have to verify that your UIDs match. So right here, my UID matches the one right here. Let's just go ahead and verify that I don't have any oneric shards. Right there, it says 0 oneric shards. I'm going to click my pack, click top up now, continue to purchase. Obviously, I'm going to blur out my payment information. And then right there, we're going to click order details. It says payment completed, so that should be it. And now let's see how fast do we get him in game. It says 0. Oh, there we go. It didn't even take a minute. It didn't even take 1 minute, guys. So there it is, lbbar.gg, very fast, very reliable. So go ahead, check out our friends over at lbbar.gg, link in the description below. As usual, we're going to start with her kit. She did get a little bit of a change in the last time we talked about Lingsha. So her basic attack deals 100% fire damage, 20 energy, 30 break as of right now. These break numbers, notice that I have some and some I don't have, is because she does have follow-up attacks and her ultimate deals damage to everybody. So I am yet to get the actual break numbers for her. Moving along, the skill deals 80% fire damage to all enemies and restores HP equal to 14% of Lingsha's attack plus a fixed amount. The fixed amount is from 105 at level 1 to 538 at level 15. So it's going to be somewhere around 500 or 480 at level 10 if I'm not mistaken. But it heals to all allies and advances the bunny's action by 20%. Skill is going to regenerate 30 energy. And because this is an AoE hit, I don't know if it does 30 to everybody or 15 to everybody. I really don't know. I will get that information, as I said, in the follow-up video. Now, her ultimate is 110 energy, which is very important. We are going to discuss her rotations in a little bit, but just keep in mind that her energy is very low, like surprisingly low at 110. It deals 75% damage to all enemies and inflicts a debuff that increases break damage taken by enemies by 25% for 2 turns. So this debuff, this break debuff, is essentially a break vulnerability, a vulnerability debuff that only applies when you're dealing some sort of break damage. This includes initial break and super breaks. As it stands right now, Gallagher already gives us 15% break vulnerability and it's for 3 turns if you have an E6. So getting 25 for 2 turns, I don't know if it's actually worth it, but we'll continue reading. Heals allies HP equal to 12% of Lingsha's attack plus, again, a fixed amount that I don't know the exact number right now, but for all allies, advances bunny action by 100%. Just by her skill and ultimate, her kit is going to revolve around this follow-up attacking bunny that is going to just be on the timeline, and whenever it reaches its turn, is going to fire up a follow-up attack. And then we're also going to be able to manipulate its action advance order via skill or ultimate. The talent, and this is where it talks about the bunny, summons a bunny when using this skill. Bunny has 80 speed and has initial count of 3. During bunny's action, deal damage equal to 45 to 112. Remember, guys, this is level 10 and level 15, so it would be probably around 100%. Damage to total enemies, dispels 1 debuff from allies and restores allies HP equal to 12% of Lingsha's attack plus a fixed amount for all allies. So the bunny is an AoE heal, AoE cleanse, and an AoE hit all at the same time, which is extremely strong. As a healer, I think she already surpasses Gallagher in my opinion, because Gallagher's AoE heals are just once every time he ults, and his actual heal is a fixed amount, 1600 heal every time he uses skill, and can only cleanse 1 ally. But all these enemies that we've been getting lately, they AoE inflict dots on everybody. So she is going to be very valuable in that sense. The bunny can hold up to 5 action counts, and bunny gains 3 action counts when using Lingsha's skill. When counts reach 0, the bunny disappears. So essentially you can stack up to 5 counts. The bunny shows up with 3 already. So essentially you can max out the bunny on the second bunny turn, right? So you summon the bunny 3 turns, 2 turns in, you re-up the bunny. So now the bunny has 5 counts, and then you can go 5 turns of being skill point positive, which is very strong, especially when you take into consideration her tech, which we're going to talk about right now. Summons the bunny at the start of battle and inflicts befog on all enemies. Befog is the debuff from the ultimate. I don't know why I didn't write befog here, but that's a debuff from the ultimate. So initially she brings out the bunny with 3 actions and then inflicts the break vulnerability debuff on the enemies. This means that she's already skill point positive because you're going to, so essentially the bunny's going to come out with 3 actions. The first bunny action, you're going to skill with Lingsha, bringing it from 2 to 5. So now you have 5 turns that you're going to be able to stack skill points. So essentially she starts off skill point neutral, obviously. One turn, she's +1 SP positive. Turn 2, you're going to skill so you can get the 5 stacks, so that puts her back on SP neutral, and then you have 5 turns after that you don't have to use your skill unless you absolutely need to heal. That's pretty much what a rotation is. You're going to start off with, like, this is before so you're going to start with a basic, into a skill, into basic, and then actually basic, skill, basic will get you an ultimate right here. So let's just do ult right here and I'll explain why. Her traces: increases attack and outgoing healing by 20% or 8% of Lingsha's break effect up to a max of 50 and 20% respectively. To max this out, you're going to need about 250% break effect to max the 50% attack and 20% outgoing healing, which sounds like a lot, but it's really not a lot when you consider the teams that Lingsha will be a part of. The second is going to be basic attack regenerates 10 extra energy, which makes this a 30 energy basic, which in turn gives you, with energy regen rope, if you do your initial 5 energy, you do basic, that's 30, skill, that's another 30, another basic, that's another 30. You already have 95, and if you do that with the energy regen rope, you get about 113 energy, which means in 3 turns +1 SP positive, you're going to be able to fire off your ultimate. And then last but not least, this is probably one of the most important parts of a kit. When allies HP get lower than 60%, trigger bunny follow-up attack, doesn't consume bunny actions, and can be triggered again after 2 turns. So this is essentially a Luocha emergency heal. It activates at the same frequency as Luocha's emergency heal, but it's AoE and it's also an attack. So it's gonna pretty much trigger this right here. It's gonna pretty much trigger her talent bunny whenever one of your allies gets to 60% or lower HP, which is insanely strong. And it, at the same time, is going to cleanse your whole team and heal your whole team. Very, very good. I like her sustain capabilities, but see, since she is a break character and she's attempting to have some sort of break supportive capabilities, I don't think an extra 10% vulnerability is going to be a good enough reason for you to replace your Gallagher, since Gallagher already has a decent time sustaining a break team in the first place. Moving on to a little bit of her calcs, she is an attack-based character, so her base attack is 679, which is pretty high for a sustainer. Lycon, we're going to go with the Gallagher Lycon that we got at least 1 copy. You should have at least 1 copy of this. If you don't have it, S5. At S5, you get 48% break effect on this Lycon, which is really strong. She gets 10% for attack traces. The chest, we're going with outgoing healing, even though she doesn't really need it, but it's good to have. Boots, you obviously want speed boots because you want her as fast as possible, because her basics actually give 30 energy. So, and also because of her emergency heal, we're going to give her an attack orb because we don't care about her fire damage. Rope, energy regen rope, you actually kind of need it for you to be able to ult every 3rd turn. 25% in subs should be pretty decent. All you really need is speed, break effect, and attack on her. Not too crazy to build her. Relic sets, we can go a little bit into the build a little bit later. Actually, we're going to go into the build right now, okay? As of right now, I found a few ways that you can play Lingsha. My favorite one is going to be the 4-piece Eagle set because of the action advance on ultimate, and because you're going to be firing over ultimate every 3rd turn, regardless of if you skill or basic. This is probably going to end up being a really strong set, so you can get even more turns on Lingsha's side. So this is probably going to be my favorite, but you know, it requires you to farm this stupid Eagle set, which, to be fair, I haven't even farmed the stupid Eagle set that much to have a good set for her. But for most people, I think the better alternative is going to be the 2-piece messenger and the 2-piece either of the break sets. The reason I'm not suggesting the 4-piece watchmaker is because the ultimate for the watchmaker needs to be on allies, not an attack. And since her is an attack, I don't think it really works. It may work because it's also a heal, but you also are going to run Ruan Mei and Harmony Trailblazer on the team, probably. And one of those two is going to be having the watchmaker set, giving you the already 30% break effect, which we're going to calculate a little bit later. This is actually really strong as well because she is a fire break character, just like Gallagher, just like Firefly, and more often than not, you're going to be running her with Firefly. So even if their enemy is not weak to fire, you will have the ability to implant the fire weakness, and as long as she's hitting somebody who's fire weak, she should be able to get the damage bonuses from the set, and that's going to allow her to deal a little bit more damage when it comes to breaking. But for most people, including myself, I am going to go with the 2-piece Artumbo, 2-piece messenger. You could also go for the 4-piece Artumbo, and this may actually work if you want to replace the energy regen rope with a break rope because you have a hard time getting the break points, the break effect break point, and you want to do a break rope instead. This set might actually work, but you're going to have to make sure that you're the one breaking with Lingsha, you're going to have to break at least 3 characters, or yeah, 3 characters for her to be able to get the energy required, or at least get a few kills on trash mobs. But I would severely recommend 2-piece messenger, 2-piece Artumbo set, because the 6% speed is actually really strong. She has a base 98% speed, which is not that high, so you will need as much speed as you can possibly muster on her. At least for me, it's going to be 2-piece speed, 2-piece, one of these 3, whichever has the better substats. And then for the planar sets, I highly recommend the new, I think it's called the Forge set, the new planar set for break, because it gives you the most break at 40% break effect, and it also gives you 6% speed, which is everything she really needs. And since you're going to be playing her with more than likely Firefly, they're going to be fire weak in the first place, so you're just a free 40% break effect and 6% speed, which is more than the Talia Kingdom Banditry, which only gives you up to a max of 36 if you have the 145 speed. So with the 2-piece messenger and then the Forge or whatever it's called, that's 12% speed plus run May plus speed boots. You're going to be at a decent speed, so you will not have to invest super hard into speed substats for you to reach the speed breakpoints. Now her healing bonus is going to be at around 47% in this particular build, because we get 12% from this break effect, but this is not entirely, this actually gets maxed out when we actually take into consideration what the team is. So as of right now, 12% from the trace and a 34% from the chest. When we go to break effect sources, we have 160 with the base build and with 35% in subs. This should be doable for most people. This is about 1 break effect roll on every piece that can have it, assuming that you're not running the break rope. If you're running the break rope, this is going to go down by 5, or it's going to go down by 6, and you're going to add the remainder of the break rope. But we're using energy regen rope on this particular build. She gets 37% from the trace. Again, this will go up as your break effect goes up. 40% from relics, because this is what this gives me. And actually, I'm missing 16 right here. So let's just put 16 here. It's 56 from the relics. Buff, this is from the team, which we're going to discuss later. And then the Lycon, 48%. This is the 4-star. I think Gallagher Lycon, you guys should know what it is. You should have 1 copy if you've been farming the Clocky statues, or you've been doing the Penacony side of side quests. You should have at least 1 copy of this Lycon. So as far as buffs, the team that you're going to run Lingsha on is the same team you run Gallagher on, which is Ruan Mei and Harmony Trailblazer. Collectively, you get 20 from Ruan Mei, and then if you have the Watchmaker set on either of them, that's an extra 30. That's already 50. And then your HMC, if she is E4 and above, she should be giving you at about 60% extra break effect for a total of 110 break effect buff to the entire team, bringing her total break effect to 286. Now, this will max out the healing bonus trace and the attack trace, upgrading her skill to about 1,000 per ultimate and about 800 per bunny heal, because all these 3 is the same thing. It's just the bunny heal is going to get you about 800. Which this bunny can trigger multiple times in a single turn, or a single cycle, I should say. And that's why this heal is actually very, very strong. And obviously people are going to have different thresholds of attack. Some people are going to have 4K attack on her. So it just depends. Your healing is going to depend heavily on your attack and your break effect. So the second Lycon I'm going to talk about is the multiplication Lycon. This one gives you an action advance when you basic, and is one that people use on Gallagher because they want him to take more turns. And is one that actually Lingsha can actually take full advantage of, because she gets that extra 10 energy per basic. So this is actually a really, really strong Lycon. If you're running this Lycon, you really don't need the Eagle set. So this actually might be the play for a lot of people as well, but it doesn't give you any break effect like this one. And obviously her signature Lycon gives you 60% break effect and extra vulnerability debuffing on the team. Now you could make an argument that summoning for Lingsha is not worth it, and you can just summon for the Lycon and then give this Lycon to Gallagher and pretty much have almost the same performance when it comes to the upgrade of your team. So in my opinion, Lingsha as a healer, as a sustainer, is better than Gallagher, right? And I think that I can say that very confidently. Everybody can agree that her healing capabilities are really, really strong. They're similar to Huohuo's in terms of not frequency, because Huohuo's has the best healing frequency in the game, but in terms of effectiveness and keeping your team pretty much healed up. Where I think that it's going to be a problem is that she shares too many similarities to Gallagher, which is an overused 4-star character that everybody got a single copy for free. So is she going to be enough at this current point to get to warrant somebody replace their own Gallagher? I don't think so, because the one thing that's separating her from Gallagher, because Gallagher doesn't even have a problem sustaining a team. Like, I haven't seen any single person complain about Gallagher sustaining the team and his heals being not enough. So Gallagher is enough as a sustain. The problem for Lingsha is that the brick team doesn't need another sustainer, because Gallagher is good enough. The only reason you would get Lingsha is if you want extra debuffs, extra vulnerability capabilities on the team, which she kind of provides, but it's only a 10% increase because vulnerability is a 1-to-1 damage multiplier. Your team is going to do 10% more damage, but is that enough to get a whole new character? I don't think so, when you can just get the light cone and pretty much get the same result. In my opinion, Lingsha needs a little bit of a tweak. She needs a little bit more, maybe some weakness break efficiency buffs. Maybe 20% weakness break efficiency will be enough to edge people to go for Lingsha instead of Gallagher. But at this current moment in the game, Gallagher just does everything you need. He just does. And if you really want to make the argument that you want to make your team hit a little harder, just get the light cone. You know, like, you don't need to invest in a whole new character. Light cone is a much lower investment, pretty much costs the same, easier to get arguably, and it's going to give you the same result as just getting Lingsha by herself if you already have Gallagher. So I think she will receive some sort of buffs. I really hope so. I think she will end up getting a little bit of a buff. I really hope they give her some break efficiency to really mesh the whole break team together, give it a really not deserved, but the break team's already powerful enough. But if she gets a little bit of break efficiency, or I mean, I guess a little bit more vulnerability, I guess the way I would buff her a little bit is just give her like 10% or 20% break efficiency on the debuff, and then have the vulnerability on the bunny. Just swap the vulnerability from the ult to the bunny, and then put weakness break efficiency on the ultimate. And then that would probably fix her, and it will make her the best break sustain by far. Not to invalidate everybody's Gallagher is still going to be good. So if you want to run Boothill on one side, Firefly on another, you could do that. But this way, you can definitely have a reason and an excuse, and it's going to be a worth it excuse to pull for Lingsha, regardless if you have Gallagher or not. So that's my opinion. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Are you pulling for Lingsha? Are you pulling for Fei Zhao? Are you excited for these characters at 2.5? Let me know in the comment section. And until next time, guys. See ya.